Speaking of Jacksonville, that in fact is the next team that we're
Oh,
going to
segue.
because
Oh.
it is. Thank you for teeing that up for me, Ty. Our man John Shear is going to join us back here in just a moment. But yeah, we are going to Jacksonville. And of course, I'm going to start with Alex on this one. But, Alex, let me be real, brother. Now, again, what you do at TIAA Bank, beautiful, top to bottom. However, we have to be realistic and say the combination of Trevor Lawrence, Urban Meyer, and the possibility of Tim Tebow may sell tickets and put butts in seats, but I am really curious to see how it's going to perform on the field. Now, you know the schedule, sir, but for our audience who may not, again, like I said, they get their first win in Houston against Houston. Then they've got Denver and Arizona at home, a Thursday night in Cincy, Tennessee at home. Then they go to London to play the Miami Dolphins. They have their bye week, of course. Seattle, Buffalo, Indy, San Fran, Atlanta, Rams, Tennessee. They're at Indy, at the Rams, at Tennessee. Houston, they host them. Then they go to the Jets, they go to New England, and they finish with the Colts. So, as best as possible, sir, and I know you're going to give them a more positive, brighter outlook than some of the rest of us might, but please, Mr. Fleming, speak on the Jacksonville Jaguars from what you have seen between last year and this year.
Doug Marrone is a good coach, but he got fired because he wasn't producing W's. I'm glad they fired their general manager because he wasn't getting the job done and he didn't resign Jalen Ramsey, which was basically the last nail in the coffin. For those who were actually paying attention to the Jacksonville Jaguars, you can see that the offensive line was intact. They gave up 23 sacks in 16 games last year. Can anybody besides me name two quarterbacks on that roster last year? Two, because everybody's going to mention Gardner Minshew. Yeah. Can you name the other two that started and played? I don't think so. 23 sacks, 16 games. You want to be technical, that's a sack and a half a game. I think any quarterback will take that. Well, enter in Trevor Lawrence, who's just a little bit better than Gardner Minshew, Jake Luton, or Mike Glennon. Oh, by the way, coaching matters. Coach Urban Meyer, regardless of what decisions he makes, happens to be a winning coach. He won at Utah. He won at Bowling Green. We know he won in Florida. And he won at Ohio State. So he shouldn't be questioned because you know what? This is his rookie year, too. The real tight end, Jake Frackrell, is going to be losing snaps to Tim Tebow. Now, I don't want to get into the Tebow situation because I don't believe he can play still. But you know what? Sometimes you can't get momentum from better places, from guys who've been there. He's going to be an excellent locker room presence and take away some of the heat from Trevor Lawrence. Oh, and by the way, that defense, which I spoke to you about, I believe May 3rd, when we got to break down how the draft went down. CJ Henderson may not be the starter. He might be moved to nickel, or he might be the cover two. We don't quite know, but they did sign Kashil Griffin from Seattle, 3 years, $40 million. They fixed the defensive line so that way they can get a pass rush because they were number 32 in sacks. Oh, and by the way, Travis Etienne, he's going to lead the team in yards. This is James Robinson's show. If you don't know, you better ask somebody. He's going to lead the team in touchdown.
Man, can we get a prediction, man?
Hold on. I want to interject really quick, sir. I do not mean to interrupt, but you're saying Travis Etienne, his rookie year, is going to lead the team in yards. That is what I want to make sure I heard that correctly.
Rushing yards?
Travis Etienne is going to be a running back / slot receiver. When everybody was up in the ruckus when he was selected number 25, I was like, guys, he caught 60 passes last year out of the backfield. Imagine that man in the slot. He's a mismatch issue. Keenan Cole is gone to the Jets. You got DJ Shark, Oh, and Colin Johnson, he's a tight end in a wide receiver's body. This is all I'm saying. A lot of y'all are sleeping on the Jaguars, thinking they're not going to do anything or raise a ruckus. Travis Lawrence is a winner. Urban Meyer is a winner. James Robinson had 1,167 yards and sat 2 games. Could have broke Fred Taylor's record. All of y'all are asleep. Quote.
You right.
Sleep is right. You're right.
Hold on. I didn't catch that last part, sir. You said quote you. What was the quote?
Pay attention.
That's okay. What's the quote?
7-10.
All right. John Shear, welcome back. I'm going to get you, and then I will go to everybody else. John Shear, please talk to me about Jacksonville. But before you do
You
that,
want me to reply?
I just need your Houston. I need your Houston prediction, sir.
All right. Houston will win 2 games. There'll be division games because you don't typically get swept in the division. So they'll eke out 2 wins. Jacksonville even beat Indianapolis week 1 last year. So you can do it. And Jacksonville was a terrible team last year. So you can do it, in the division.
All right. So 2-15.
And I don't think
please.
Deshaun Watson plays because I think he stays on the commissioner's exempt list.
Fair enough. So talk to me about Jacksonville, sir.
Am I replying to Alex, or am I giving my prediction? Because there's a lot to unpack if I'm replying to Alex.
I think we all have something to quote to go back to Mr. Fleming on. So, but please give me your thoughts on Jacksonville as a whole.
See, I don't like what they're doing. I think the ETN pick was a complete waste. This is Urban Meyer's MO. I mean, Alex was saying about how Urban Meyer won everywhere, but Urban Meyer is a coward. I mean, the guys ran every time something went wrong. He bolted out the door. He's trying to create what he had in college. This is the NFL. ETN was a mismatch in college. But this is the NFL. You're not going to go up against, the top corners in the world and think you're going to outmatch him being a running back. You're not Le'Veon Bell. I'm sorry, but you're not. Well, that's one of the only running backs that are going to line up in the slot and mismatch with the cornerback. It's not happening with Travis Etienne. You waste your 25th overall pick. When you're a bad team running receiver, now you're trying Tim Tebow. I don't know, to take pressure. Trevor Lawrence, that and you got to focus on Tebow. I don't know what you're trying to do. Tim Tebow's not going to do anything. I mean, what's Urban Meyer really trying to do? Travis Etienne, Tim Tebow. I mean, I like, obviously, the Lawrence pick, but, I mean, come on. Urban Meyer, man, I just don't buy him. He's a college coach in the NFL world, just like Nick Saban was, and it's not going to work.
All right, so what's your record for Jacksonville, John?
And Michael Cartenuto he's going crazy right there. Oh, my gosh.
I'm going to get to Mike in a minute, but John, go ahead.
I'm going to give him 4 wins. I mean, at best. What? It's not a great roster. The defense isn't great. The line's okay. I mean, the receivers, you can talk about Chark, but, I mean, has he proven it whenever it really matters? Has anybody on that roster really proven it when it really matters? I'm not giving him more than 4 wins. Until you show me, has Urban Meyer ever coached in the NFL? No. He has no idea what he's doing. This isn't college. This is the big boys league. So they'll get 4 wins if they're lucky. If they're lucky, they'll salvage some off the Texans. That's
Mr. Cartenuto, you're patiently waiting, but you're sitting on your hands. I know you're ready, so go ahead, my brother.
All right. The one person I don't really have much to say because Alex gave us the whole team, but the one person he didn't mention is Miles Jack, who should be back very healthy, who we forget is an inadvertent BS whistle away against the Patriots from taking it to the house, and Jacksonville would have been playing Philly Bowl, but no, they blew the whistle because it's the Patriots. But I'm not gonna get started on that because Miles Jack was gone. He's healthy. I'm with again. I like Alex's optimism. Travis Etienne, John, was a solid pick. The kid came back. He would have been probably a first-round pick, depending how people feel about running backs last year, had he came out. But he wanted to get better as a receiver. Like Dabo Sweeney said, this kid came back to be a good receiver out of the backfield. Like Alex said, you put him in the slot, he could lead the team in yards. I'm not going to say 7 wins. I'm going 1 less. I'm going 6 because I like how they're constructing lineup. Yes, I'm not the biggest Urban Meyer fan. We guess what he did at Utah and Bowling Green and Florida and Ohio State speaks for itself. He did get booted out of Ohio State, though, John, because some of the stuff was his fault. So I wouldn't say he was running away there. He was very standoffish about it. But, look, he can win. And look, I don't even think Tebow is going to be on the roster. If he is and he's catching passes, good for him. But I say 6 wins. And again, the defense the last few years, I mean, you look at all they lost on defense alone the last few years. And yes, I do blame the general manager. And when Alex said he deserved to get fired, but you let Jalen Ramsey go. He says he's unhappy. You need to make him happy. I mean, that is one guy that I want on my team shutting every top receiver down. So I think they get 6 wins. Again, offensively, it will be a struggle. I could see him getting off to maybe a somewhat hot start because there's college film on Trevor Lawrence, but not running Urban Meyer's offense. They get off to a pretty good start. So I say 6 wins. I would say caveat maybe up to 8, but I wouldn't go higher than that.
All right, fair enough. I want to give a quick shout.
Let everybody else go first, sir.
Trent Balk, the former general manager of the San Francisco 49ers, is now the general manager of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So before you say something that comes out of your lips, realize that we're rebuilding the right way.
What does that have to do with anything?
Urban Meyer's the GM, just so you know.
Hold on. I want to show love to one of our guys here tonight chiming in. He's got a show on Thursday that actually does cover this specific division. So shout out to Mr. Mike Patton. He is saying Jacksonville doesn't have anybody at the tight end, and Jack, referring to Miles Jack, has to prove to be a leader. In his opinion now, he said the pick of ATN wasn't needed. So we'll see how it goes. But I wanted to show him some love. He was John enough to join us here tonight in the Sports Arena. This man does a show on Thursday, particularly covering the AFC South. So just wanted to give the man his time. So, Ty, go ahead, sir. And then I'm going to end, of course, with our girl, Miss Megan Price. But, Ty, talk to me about Jacksonville, sir.
This guy, Alex Fleming, man. I don't know about him. This is what I got, and I'm going to read it off for you, man. Let's see. Houston, week 1, that's a win. Broncos, week 2, I think that's a win. So I think they'll open up 2-0. This is where it goes downhill. Arizona, loss. I think they'll beat Cincinnati. So I think they'll be 3-1 going into week 5.
No, wait, Ty, but that's a short week. And they're going to Cincinnati.
Thursday night game. They lost that game last year in Cincinnati.
It's the Bungles.
Listen.
With no offensive line.
Burrow won't be there.
I agree.
Joe Burrow won't be there.
Just saying. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, Ty. Please continue.
So I got them 3-1 going into the Tennessee game. Lost to Tennessee, lost to Miami. They're going to bye. Lost to Russ and them. Lost to Buffalo. Lost to Indianapolis. Of course, a loss in week 11. I mean, there's no other way you could chalk that up to the 49ers. Atlanta, I think that's a loss too. The Rams lost, Tennessee lost, Houston win, Jets win. So I got them at 5-12. Sound about right? Okay, cool. Next person.
Mike, I'm with you, bro. I don't understand what all this hate for the Jets is.
Where did Rob? Wait, Alex is just talking about where the GM came from San Francisco. Salah came from San Francisco too. They're going to be a lot tougher.
Mike. Didn't you say 6 wins? What's different from 5 to 6?
1.
No, the Jets. Everybody's picking on the Jets.
I know.
I'm not talking about that. Stop picking on the damn Jets.
Miss Megan Price, please talk to us about this Jacksonville Jaguars team.
I actually really agree with Tyree's breakdown. I'm also going 5-12. I definitely think they're beating the Texans. I definitely think they're beating the Broncos. They're most definitely, if anything in life is real, they're beating the Bungles. And then I have them beating the Texans again in week 15. Maybe the Jets. I don't know. And I don't know how I feel about the Patriots this year. But I'm still going to say 5-12 safely. And they have a possible 6-11, but 5-12 for sure.
Hey guys,
honestly,
West Coast teams don't do good on the East Coast. Guess where that game against San Francisco was at?
It doesn't matter if it's in Antarctica. Loss.
Hey,
okay.
They have been. You're right, Alex. But Seattle has gone west to east and destroyed people. I'm just going to say.
No. See, when they come off of the bye week, that game against Seattle is in Seattle. But
no. I know. I'm saying in general. In general,
yes. San Fran is going to have a tough divisional game before they travel all the way East Coast and play a 1:00 game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Guys, on this day, what's today? May 15th? May 16th? What's today? I don't know.
May
17th.
Circle it.
So I have a question.
We smoking on that Jacksonville loaf that night.
I have a question. So Jacksonville was the worst team in the league this past season, and they had Trevor Lawrence, who's a rookie, and they had Travis Etienne, who's a rookie, and a head coach who's a rookie who's never coached in the NFL, and they're going to jump all the way up to 6 wins when they were the worst team in the NFL.
You're
John?
not really
So-
saying the
I think
line.
it's possible.
Which means they're probably the worst roster in the NFL. So
No.
that's really going to
The
make that big of a
Texans?
difference with all these rookies that have never played in the NFL.
The line, sir. They added Cisco, a ball hawk rookie out of Syracuse, because
I
they
thought you was
needed
talking about the
Tyler.
dude from Drew Hill.
They added corners from
Rookie.
multiple teams, plus Rashael Griffin from Seattle. 3 years, $40 million. Already done told you this. They bolstered the offensive line that was already good, which you said yourself was decent. They added a pass rush so that way they won't be last in sacks in the NFL. Last but not least, coaching matters. 7-10.
Alex, can
Okay.
I ask you a question?
My thing
Hold
about
on.
that is,
No.
Yeah, it does.
Ladies and
Urban
gentlemen.
has not coached in the NFL. Like, I think that is
Facts.
very important. And we sit here talking about Tim Tebow, somebody who was one of the greatest at his position in college and did not translate to the NFL. It didn't happen. And it's not
Okay.
going to happen this year. And I don't know if it's going to happen for Urban.
No, I
So
think
let
he'd be
me-
all right at tight end, though.
Let me say this because we do have to move on because this Jacksonville conversation could take up the rest of the night. When I look at this, it could. When I look at this team, here is what I see. I see, as Alex said, a rebuilding team. The one thing I will always say is divisional play, anything is possible. They could get got by one of those divisional teams. Mike, you could shake your head all day long. But
No, I
how
say
many
yeah.
times have we seen quarterbacks who we thought would just get ran over, who have actually come out and proven they are worth their salt? Now, if this is a ploy by bringing in Tim Tebow to just sell tickets and put butts in seats, that's fine. But Alex made the one comment that we cannot ignore. It's taking pressure off Trevor Lawrence. It's allowing him to go out there and simply do what he is great at. Now, he might not be great on the NFL level because we don't know. But on the college level, you can't ignore what that young man produced. You cannot ignore that. You can deny it all you want, but the facts are the facts. You bring in a college coach transitioning to the NFL. He knows how to work with these players. That's what he did aside from the X's and O's. He groomed them to be in the NFL. And now he's got a guy that he plucked and said, okay, now I'm going to groom you. Much like Cliff Kingsbury did with Kyler Murray.
True.
So it is fair to say that, listen, 4, 5, 6 wins is possible. I thought I would be the only person on here. I thought Alex was going to go higher. I really did. Alex, I thought you were going to go at least 9-8 because you know the team better than I. But I am agreeing with Mr. Fleming in saying when I look at this team and I look at the building blocks, I have to say at least 7 wins. I do. Because I believe Jacksonville is going to surprise people with the changes that they made. And to Mike's point, if Miles Jack is 100%, quarterbacks are on their backside. Ain't no question about that. So I'm agreeing with Mr. Fleming and saying 7-10. We are going to take a really quick break.